let's get right into it, into this political mukbang, bang bong, bong bang.
Sure, they all fit.
I'm Eliza. I am a senior political science major, and I'm co-president of Stanford Democrats.
I'm Jason Spires. I'm a transfer student. I recently declared CS, and I'm here on behalf of the Stanford Libertarians.
Yeah. My name is Steven Sills. I'm a college sophomore, majoring in history potentially, and I'm the current president of the Stanford College Republicans.
And I'm Cole Griffiths, sophomore majoring in political science, representing the Stanford Daily. So how it's going to work is I'll start by asking you just some simple questions from these note cards as kind of like a way to start conversation and kind of keep things moving along. It'll be a mixture of like sort of light topics, some modest political topics, just kind of stuff to get our juices flowing. So first off, who's your political crush? This is directed to everybody.
Like, in what way?
Well, it can be like a hero, but like a hero you'd want to marry or date.
I don't know. I don't necessarily idolize the politicians per se I vote for. I only vote for them or support them because I think they represent strong conservative principles in the way that I kind of like.
If you were to ask me who are my political influences, I could answer that. But I really have no crush for a politician. It's someone we employ that's supposed to do the work of the people.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, those are both interesting and good points. I guess we're not taking this in the light direction.
This is like, no, it's...
terms of, like, I don't think we should necessarily, like, idolize politicians, or, like, politics... it's not a game, and we shouldn't like see it as a game, and I think that also goes into some of like over idolizing people.
Alrighty, well that actually next in the sequence we have something a little bit more meaty. The death penalty. Thoughts?
100% against it. We're like the only developed country that still has the death penalty, and I think it's absolutely atrocious and a violation of human rights that we still have it. I don't think it benefits society at all. There's almost no evidence like that the death penalty will actually like serve any of its purpose instead of preventing people from doing crimes that would result in them being eligible for the death penalty. It's obviously like I think our criminal justice system should be restorative and focused on rehabilitation and yes, like providing like punishment for people who have done wrong, but also making sure that they, if they're safe for society, they can, you know, re-enter society and be successful. And the death penalty doesn't do it at all. So.
Well, it's like, I can kind of see both, and I don't necessarily have a strong position on the issue. At one point, there's this sort of conflict, right, where it's like I believe that all life is intrinsically valuable. Even from conception, I can see the logical consistency of making sure that we preserve all life at all stages. But then there's also a part of me that also understands, you know, the fact that when someone goes in and he murders a school full of like 50 children, if we believe in some sort of sense of justice, what does justice demand we do with an individual who does something like that?
The argument that I usually make is this, is imagine the most boring day you've ever had. You're probably sitting in a waiting room somewhere.
Interesting.
Okay? So now imagine you're sitting in that waiting room for the rest of your life, and you know you're never going to get out. I think I'd rather die. So ask yourself, if it's really about meting out a consequence as opposed to restorative justice, give them the worst consequence. Let them sit in the waiting room for the rest of their life, waiting on nothing.
Oh, okay.
If you were to switch to another political party, which party would you switch to? In the U.S. context.
Good question. I think it's irrespective of party, I mean, this is like one of the things too. It's like when people vote for parties, right? I mean, this is a tragedy of American politics. You're always choosing a block of policies, or even maybe the whole aggregate, based on the aggregate rather than maybe, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, even myself, right? There are certain issues I have with certain things on the platform, right, that I still have to vote by default of the fact that elections are always binary choices between lesser of both evils on the stage a lot of times. And I think that irrespective of party, I will always be a principled conservative in terms of the values that I have. You know, conservative isn't necessarily a label that you would maybe attach a Republican or like Democrat marker, but just due process, limited government, fundamentally the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of personal property. It will always be contingent upon whether or not I think the candidate rightfully lives up to those three principles. So I would be more likely to vote for John F. Kennedy, right? Or any of the classical liberals of that era who are Democrats than I probably would for some of these Marxists you have running on the Democratic ticket right now.
I guess if I was to change parties, give me either one. And the reason I say that is because once you get outside of the popular issues to talk about, people on the right, people on the left, you're the same party. My point is, a lot of times when you talk to the main parties, and this is where people misunderstand the Libertarian Party, is we are truly asymmetrical to both parties. We're not a mismatch of them, right? We're asymmetrical. And the reason I say this is the debate when I was in high school, because I'm a transfer student, so I was a little older, was gay marriage versus traditional marriage. Where does a libertarian fall in that? That's a good question, right? And here's how a libertarian falls on it. Government has no say in marriage whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
So you have the right, and when I was in high school, arguing, no. We need government to say that marriage is one man, one woman. That's how it is. This is how it's enforced. And then the left say, no. Marriage can be this person and that person. It doesn't even matter, but government can give you the license. And libertarians are over here is like, why do we even need to ask the government for permission to begin with? If I'm a free person, I should be able to marry whoever the heck I want. So people often say that, oh, you're siding with the Democrats on that issue. And I guess you can say the outcome kind of sides with them, because we're saying, yeah, you should have marriage equality. But our version of equality means the government never had a veto to begin with, right? And so, like, when I looked at the Ben Shapiro show, which, good job bringing Ben Shapiro to campus. I thought it was great. A lot of people got mad about that. Oh, bringing this person to campus, and they protested. And I went to the Ben Shapiro show. And as much as I supported Ben Shapiro coming to campus, I supported every single one of those students that were holding the thing saying he shouldn't be there. Yeah. And because I want students engaged like that, even if you're opposed to it. Because what you're doing is you're learning how to lobby humanity. You're learning how to convince your neighbors of your viewpoint. And so everybody who opposed the Ben Shapiro show got practice opposing something that was happening, which will benefit them when they move on to real issues outside of this campus and they want to oppose a fracking thing that's going on. They now know how to petition the city council, how to oppose letting the city council just get away with this. They know that they can call up their friends and say, hey, let's go down to the city council and make sure that this doesn't happen. They're gaining experience and practice, which no matter what their view is, if it's an agreement with me or disagreement with me, which will benefit them in affecting the political process throughout their lives. And they wouldn't be getting those experiences if they didn't have the antagonist. If Ben Shapiro did not come to campus, they wouldn't get the experience of protesting his appearance.
Yeah, I'm maybe less hopeful in terms of overall student engagement. I think maybe the bigger issue isn't campus polarization, but the fact that not enough students do care in the first place. I mean, it's a big school, so right, like you're still gonna get like a few hundred people coming out to something, but that's a pretty tiny percentage of the overall student population.
So you're saying that we're getting the extremes on both ends coming out. Like the ones that are really motivated are the ones that they're protesting.
Yeah, but I think...
And it's a very low turnout of the
Yeah, I
student
think a low
body.
proportion of
And
the
I would
student
say-
body is actually engaged.
And I would say
Yeah.
that's very demonstrative of the political process in general in America. Is you get low turnout because most people are disengaged. So I think that's not really a Stanford problem as much as it's just a people problem.
Yeah, no.
But I do believe that Stanford itself is going out of its way to encourage the engagement, and I would like to see more showing up one way or the other, or purposely not showing up, and the not showing up is their political stance. Is that I'm here at one of the greatest universities in the world, I got all these opportunities, and I'm focused on these opportunities, and I don't have time to waste on a guy who's coming to speak that I don't care about. But that being said, I do hope those same people would show up on elections for voting and things
Right.
like that.
And I mean, that is, I think, one of the things in which we've seen like a really successful initiative on what Antonia Hellman and someone else whose name I'm forgetting, and they massively increased voter turnout from 2014 to 2018 last fall, and that was incredibly successful.
Well, thank you everybody for coming in today and sharing a meal and thoughts.
Yeah. It's
okay. You can the to-go boxes. They can be for later. They can be
Yeah.
like a meal that stretches out throughout the day.
It's good.
Seriously, thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure.
Your tube cut.
Oh my goodness.
It's good.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Eliza. And with that, we're done.
Good
Thank you for joining us.